Thank you for joining me. I'm Alex and I want to talk about Arcimoto today. So what they do is they make electric vehicles, and so far that's been three-wheeled like kind of fun vehicles, but for the road, not for off-roading. So they do things like delivery vehicles as well, on the same platform, but it's basically just a motorcycle that has a roof. Kind of. It's hard to describe. Anyway, current price is $6.78, which gives them a market cap of $214 million. Dividend is zero, and as with many manufacturing companies, they start paying a dividend after the supply and demand kind of equalize. So I wouldn't expect that to happen anytime soon, because the demand and the supply that they need to have to sustain the business is significantly higher than what they have right now. And on top of that, they need to make enough of a profit to actually make it worthwhile to pay a dividend. So probably at least 10 years out, probably a time frame that I don't really care about. Revenue $978,000, which is up from $95,000, which is that's pretty good growth right there. But earnings negative $15 million, so there's still a bit of a gap there. Current P is negative 10. Forward P is also unlisted. I wouldn't expect them to make a profit anytime soon either. So profit might be a couple years out, depending on how their production goes and how the demand goes and what kind of prices they can get for their products. Overall, I think that there is demand for their products, and they certainly are doing the right things to get the production going and get it going right. So I do expect them to eventually make a profit, and I expect them to get there, but I don't think that's going to happen in the next couple years. Total assets $16 million, total liabilities $9 million, which gives them a total stockholders' equity of $6.7 million, which is a bit of a problem when you have earnings of negative $15 million, but overall, it's still a fairly tiny company, as you can see by the revenue of less than $1 million, but even beyond that, it's a fairly small company that has much room to grow, and that probably has much room to get investors to invest in the business and get it off the ground. So I wouldn't be too concerned about all this right now, especially when there's so much hype about electric vehicles, and you could probably make a company, have it listed on the stock exchange, and somehow make billions without a product or a roadmap or anything really. So we live in crazy times. So overall, obviously for a dividend investor, there's nothing here. For a value investor, there's also nothing here, obviously. For a growth investor, the revenue growth of 1,000% is great, but the gap between revenue and negative earnings is still 15 times. So you would think that they can definitely get to earnings of $15 million, but whether or not that is a profit and whether or not they will hit a profit in a time frame that you care about is a different story. So overall, I would say that this is definitely an interesting company for a growth investor, because as I just mentioned, makers of electric vehicles are pretty hot right now. There's a lot of hype, and I bought this stock when it was under $2, I think. Probably a year ago, maybe longer. I don't even remember. I don't have many shares. I think I have like 5 shares. So I think that this stock has much room to grow, and I think that it's a really good growth stock. And once they get their first production vehicles out the door and actually start selling stuff, I could see a huge bump here. And I expect another huge bump when they actually get to profitability. So if you're a growth investor and you can deal with a time frame of 5-ish years, maybe even longer, then I think this looks like a very interesting stock to look into. Read the 10K, look at the risk factors. Right now, I don't think they have any competition. They're, as fun vehicles, they're fairly close to motorcycles, and there will be competition there. But the delivery vehicles do not have any competition, and I don't even think there's anything planned as far as competition goes. So that segment looks to be safe for years to come. Just need to figure out what exactly the demand is in that segment. So anyway, very interesting for a growth investor. Definitely look into it. That's it for me for today. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I'm coming out with more videos every day before market open. I hope you have a successful day.